Hi, this is Duchess Robinson from 8 by 10 Designs and Duchess.pro. And today I received a few inbox messages and some conversation around branding. So let me dip down into the scenario and break it down. And I'm not trying to tie anybody in it, but give you an overview of what branding it really is. And I just see so many people just failing at that and having people give them the wrong information about branding, and it's kind of frustrating because myself being knowledgeable of it, went to school for it, got a master's in it, pursuing a doctorate in it, and making money from it, and doing all kinds of things from it. And then you're challenged by someone who don't know because somebody else told them that they think know what branding is about. And it's just frustrating. It's just ridiculous. So let me break down quickly the scenario of what the branding is about. So I'm gonna give you a young lady. I'm gonna give her the name Mary, and just basic name. Mary started an online store. And Mary wanted to, just market and sell as many products in her online store as possible. And so she's been doing it for quite a few years. She's gotten some sales, but not enough for her to, quit her day job to do. Like, her primary reason to starting the online store was to eventually quit her job and do this full time. She had a great product. The product was for ladies' camisole. I don't know. We're just going to put it that way. So she's listening and she's going to different people, these women's group, and I see this all the time. Women will go to these women's group and they would get borderline information about business, but so many people are going to it, they think, okay, it is so. This is true. This is, the way to go and to network and get these things done. However, I call it poverty pimping. Information, because the person that's giving the workshops themselves are doing things based on luck but not knowledge. So real quick, fast, in a hurry, their branding is simply off, but we'll digress in it. You won't go, and I'll go into detail what I mean about everything that I just said. So what happens, then she goes to branding workshops and she looks at her own website and everything else like that. And this branding expert is telling her, well, you need to make your image crisper and blah, 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 and have this stuff and you will sell. And basically her not knowing and not getting the correct information, and she see how flashy this person is and they're doing the workshop and they're doing this and that, so it must be so. So now Mary pays all of this money to get all of these revisions from this branding expert, and come to find out she's still not selling. So in her mind she's frustrated. She comes, Duchess, I'm not making money. I got a bomb website. My website is magnificent. It got all the bells and whistles, and my graphic designs are just, flawless, and they're crisp and they're colorful and they're exciting, but I'm still not selling. Like, what is the problem? Understanding. So I asked the question, well, what do you think is the problem specifically? What do you think is the problem specifically for your brand? what do you think specifically is the problem for your brand? So she says, well, everything I've done correctly, maybe it's my product. Maybe I need to do something different. I'm not making as much money as I should. So coming to me, and I'm sitting here like, well, what is your definition of branding? After having a few conversations, because I looked at the website, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, that's really pretty good, or whatever else like that. What do you call bells and whistles into your website? And she kept saying, well, my flyers are crisp and clean, and my logo is the bomb, and let me just put a little pin right there. This particular podcast is not for the technical wording and everything else like that. I've done the technical wording, but I want to go deep into some of the issues that I consistently see with business owners, and it's frustrating. And when you try to explain it and they tell you, well, what they want and what somebody else said, I completely just cut it off. I will not even speak closer, because their mind is embedded in something that's unrealistic and further from the truth of what branding is. So I continue to let that continue to regress for them before they open their eyes and ask me the question, well, what's next for me to do? All right, so let's unpin and go back to the story about Mary and her brand and her product. Product is really good. If you use the product, you will be happy with the product. The colorful, the logo, everything. So, again, I asked Mary, what does she think branding is? So she, again, talks about the logo and the flyers and, all of those things, and her social media and her what. And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting back, and I said, well, let me ask you a question. And this kind of blew her mind, and it's going to blow your mind too as you listen to what I'm saying. When I asked her the question, and I said, I want you to sit closely and listen to me very, very carefully. And she said, okay. I said, well, Mary, can you tell me the logo for Craigslist? And she looked at me like, what? Craigslist? I don't know the logo. Mary, how fly are the flyers of Craigslist? I've never seen a flyer from Craigslist often. Well, what do you think about their interface, their website? Looked like it was done. I said, it's not a lot of bells and whistles to it, is it? No, not really. So I stopped her there. So she looked at me really puzzled, like, what the hell? Duchess, what the hell is you talking about? So I went on and I asked some question. What is Craigslist known for? And she just started, you can get this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, you can get, you can find pets on it, you can find that, but there's some dangers on there, so you have to be careful. She knew everything about Craigslist. Duchess, where are you going with that? Duchess, what do you know about that? What are you saying to me? I don't understand. Yeah, everybody go to Craigslist. I mean, and I asked her a question. Have you ever seen Craigslist with a commercial? No. Craigslist is making a lot of money now, isn't it? Yeah, well, how do they make their money? Let me ask you a question, because don't get it twisted. You do need, and I'm going to tell, forgive me, I said I wasn't going to say anything technical in there. You do need brand identity materials. And what I see is all these branding expert is only giving you a percentage of what branding is. They give you the most visual portion of it and tell you what you have to do with that. That's what I see. They talk about brand identity. Brand identity is your logos, your colors, your this and that. They don't go into what does different colors mean. You want to know the reason why social media uses a lot of blue? Because blue in surveys suggest that they are particularly what is it called? Particularly trustworthy among people. If you look at Starbucks is organic, it's this and that. That's why they use green. They don't tell you the deeper meaning of the colors that you do and what you present. Branding is an emotional response to your services. I had to take a pause there. Your logo is not going to do that. Your flyers is not going to do that if you really don't have a good brand message. A feeling, a constant, a word of mouth, all of those things wrapped together. People can tell you, well, if you do more videos, if you do this, if you do that, there go the poverty prints. They'll tell you the surface stuff, but they won't tell you the deeper stuff. They don't tell you that as a business owner, how many you should start a business with an angel investor. It go beyond that. When I talk about angel investment, people look at me dumbfounded. What? An angel investor? Then you have other investors which will guide you and help you. And there are so many free things to help push your brand out there is ridiculous. Like, I have people I work with that are in the very beginning of their business, and they've received over $100,000 in angel investments based off of the product itself. Okay, so Mary looks at me like, what? What are you talking about? I know I've worked with a pharmaceutical company who went to an organization to build their brand. Listen to this really carefully. You don't want to miss this. The organization was charging them $600,000 to help with their branding, persona, and everything else. All of these things mixed in. So their platform that they should use, their website, I find people coming out with branding using Wix websites. Nothing wrong with Wix website. You got to make it until you can make it greater. But there are other platforms that will help you do what you need to do. Let's go back to Craigslist. Craigslist has had the same platform since the beginning. They haven't changed it. It's nothing. There's not sliding anything there. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's user ability. You know when you go on Craigslist where you need to go, what you need to do, and all of those things. That's part of branding. It's not fancy. It's user ability. When people go on your website, oh, I've seen this so much. Well, we want this, and we want this, and we want this. And I'm saying, well, how about you lay it out here? Because based off your analytics and your measurability, well, we just want it to look nice. Okay, so you're stuck on brand identity, which is not going to have a greater purpose if you don't even have a brand message, a brand persona, a brand architect. Yes. And so again, Mary is looking at me saying, well, what shall I do? When she kept saying it, she sounded like almost like Tremaine Hawkins. What should I do? What steps should I take? What move should I make? Oh, Lord. That's the only thing that I heard off of that. So I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah, I went there. So, again, I see all of these brands being set up, funky flyers and everything. And I see so many, fundamental things just wrong. I see people starting brands on social media on their own profile page. What is the purpose of you getting it on your profile page? Because if you had a brand specialist or anything on your team, they would have told you, stop. Facebook only lets your profile to be seen by a certain amount. If me personally, I have 5,000 plus 12,000 followers. This is on my profile. I didn't even go to my pages. And at about 3,000 friend requests right now. Do you know only a small percentage can see what's going on my profile page? So why in God's green earth would you limit your brand, your business to low numbers? Why would you? That's just, you paid all of this money, you did all of these things for a logo and flyers. Come to find out, you only introducing it to maybe a small percentage of people to see it. That's not good branding. That's not good business decision to limit the people who can see it. A good brand person would tell you, listen, put it on pages. Wide variety. You know why people don't want to do it on pages? I'm going to tell you why. They feel it's harder to get people on there, and then, oh shoot, I'm going to have to hire a social media specialist. Stop talking to people that tell you they're social media specialists with your brand with less than 2,000 people on their page. Don't talk to nobody that doesn't have 10,000 followers, at least 10,000 followers on their page. I can tell you now, I got about 4 or 5 pages that got 10,000. I got one page that's close to 700,000, another to 300,000. This isn't, and not paid. I haven't paid social media anything to get those followers. But they're not going to listen to me because it's not, what I'm saying to them is not flashy. They're not listening. They're not doing anything. That was one of the most, let me go into something personal. I stopped and I put a hold on my business, 8x10 Designs, because I got wary and annoyed with dealing with people with their layout. I'm to the point now in my life, I won't take any clients that will not allow me to have, if not the majority of the design control. And of course, I listen to input and what you're doing and putting it together. But most people who come to me are kind of clueless of it. And I try to walk them through it. And if they're not susceptible and they want to hear, well, what I looked at this and that and they did this and that, they kind of just, okay, I can't do. Okay, let them do it. And when I find when they do it, they're still in the same place that they were and their brand is no better. That's what happens. They're like people like Mary are looking at the flashy points, but never took the time to look at supremely what type of business, what type of numbers. They don't look under the covers. They just look, they're swimming in shallow water. And because they're lack of knowledge of marketing and online branding and all of that stuff, they're only seeing the flash. I've seen people get taken so much. It was one time I was told that this guy had a platform and you can pay this much to get on my platform because I have about 50,000 people that will listen. So people like, yeah, I'll get my money. That's in front of 50,000 people. So a person said to me, yeah, I'm going to go on there. What do you think about that? So I went on Android and Apple. See, here's the thing with Android and Apple. You can see how many people have downloaded the app itself. And I said, How many did they tell you? It's about 50,000. And I said, and you believe them? Yeah, I believe them. We went on there. It was like 10 people had downloaded the apps on both platforms. People, be smart and be knowledgeable before you kick out your money. And stop questioning the people who do, because they sound boring. And if I need to go back into that, have you ever seen Starbucks? Have you ever seen Craigslist? Have you ever seen any of these other brands with these extra elaborate flyers like that? Anything that you see, you'll see an ad. Listen to me very closely. You're paying all of this money for flyers, and with your picture on it, with the logo on it, and you telling them when it's on. Again, you do it on your profile page. I don't understand. But let's stop there. You do all of this stuff. Really sit down and look at the advertisement, true advertisement, where you see Amazon, or matter of fact, you've never really seen a flyer from Amazon. You've seen an advertisement, McDonald's, all of these brands. Guess what they have on them? Stop and look. They will have something to intrigue the viewers to watch. You alone is not enough to watch. What is the incentive? 10% off of this. Buy one, get one free. This, and that. They always have an advertisement for the consumer to look at it, to engage them. Too many times I've seen branding with people like, I should be interested. Don't get me wrong. You may get a few people, but you're not going to get enough. Then I see people hindering their monetization point. If you have low numbers anyway, what makes you think a flyer is going to boost that? Mary. Let's go to Mary. What type of flyer have you put out? Well, I put out a flyer with me on it. Let me know if this sounds like you. I put a flyer on it with me on it. The address to my web store, my logo, or let me go here. Some of the things that I'm discussing, I put a flyer with me and my friend on there, and we're talking about this and that. Okay. Nothing, no call to action or anything on that flyer. What do you mean by call to action? Well, listen to it at this time and find out what we're talking about. Find out what the secret of whatever. You never did that on your flyer? No. I said, so I went back and I said, Mary, how much does it cost for you to do your product? Well, it cost me really $10. The production is $10 of this product. And how much are you selling it for? Well, I'm selling it for about $40 or $50. Mary, how about doing buy one, get one free? Because you're still going to make a profit, but you'll get people to look at the brand itself. You're giving them an incentive to come to your store. How about adding on to that? So let's wrap this up in a clear bow. All of the things that she spent that she thought was branding had nothing to do to help her make sales or do anything else. It was poor brand, and let me put it to you this way, brand strategy. Brand strategy is just more than what your flyers and your colors and stuff look like. It's your persona. It's your message. What do you say every time someone picks up the phone? What is the emotional response? Quick thing. McDonald's. What do you think about when you think of McDonald's? Because they've been out there so long, you think of the golden arches, you think about the French fries, you think about how the milkshake machine almost never works. When you look at Chick-fil-A, you look at how their strategy, what in case of this, what do you do with that? And customer service and all of those stuff. And then they're not opening on Sunday. Let's go to Wrangler Jeans. Here's a brand persona. And this was the question: what celebrity do you think of, or the person do you think will buy your product, or who would like it? That's where you use your brand to engage people, your brand strategy, your the good and bad. You look at your brand. Who are you competing against? How are you putting it online? What is your correct wording? There's so much to this brand thing than just your logo, your colors, and a flyer. When I see stuff like that, it's property pimping. Because what I mean by property pimping is because I'm getting money off of you by giving you poor information. And then you're going to work for me. Oh, look how good my flyer. I'm going to get more clients because you said, look how good my flyer looks and my logo. You go to this person and they can go to you and they can do your flyer and they can do this and they can set your website up like that, but they can't tell you the analytics or the back end or how many people or the demographics that come to your website. So they're property pimping you for nothing. They're not bad people. They're just working on getting your money. That's what it is. Bad information. Do some research. You're home in a pandemic. You have the World Wide Web, and I'm guaranteeing you're not working 24/7. Take the time to really research and understand your brand. Come up with a plan. Here's another thing. If you're posting, and this is the thing that I love the best, or on Instagram or anything else like that, carefully research your hashtags. Better yet, come up with a calendar, because I see this. Come up with a calendar when you post your information. That's a part of your brand. I know at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, come up with a hashtag that match your brand. Like, I remember WDAS in Philadelphia would do something on Tuesday called Two for Tuesdays. Two for Tuesdays. Basically, the person that they play, say is Anita Baker, and they play one song by Anita Baker, and then the next song will be by Anita Baker. That was 2 for Tuesday, and they did that on a Tuesday. Motivational Monday is so overused. Come up with something else. Come up with something else in the days of the week. Come up with a goal or anything that you plan to use, and use that, and be very, you have to be, how can I put it? You have to be smart, number one. Stop allowing these things to happen. Really clearly look at the numbers. How can anybody tell you how to do social media marketing based off of buying ads and they're having less than the numbers that you're supposed to have? At that point in time, they become influencers. Learn what an influencer is and how they can be used for your brand. You're not a celebrity. You're not seen on TV. See, the thing is, the worst people to go to, too, are celebrities. What do I mean by that? Because it's like a rich person being born into being rich, and they have rich money, and they're trying to tell somebody, specifically who is poor, how to make money. It can happen based on what they know, but some of the underlying situations in between there's a gap difference. And that's what I mean by some of these people who are celebrities giving you, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that, because that's what they do. Well, no, people see you on TV, so they know who you are. So your branding is a lot easier than somebody who is not famous, who is not on TV, who is not. That's just another information. And these are the questions, and these are the things that I'm dealing with. I literally created a Facebook page, which I will which I will start to market in 2021, where people can come into the Facebook group and get questions and mentorships specifically for their brand. Oh, by the way, yeah, I'm an expert because I'm over 1 million followers organically. I rarely, look, if you notice, I don't really market anything. I'm literally the Tommy to the people who are around me. And she got a job. Why is she driving a Mercedes? Why is she trying to be? How is she trying to be? People are just. I got people in my family trying to figure out what I do. Did I get insurance money based off of that? But the people who do know where to go to, and they get their work done. So these are the things that you have to think about. These are the things you should not be heard about. But this is the first of many different real experience, not just a regular platform just for information, but really to dig deeper into thought-provoking questions, just everything that you can to adjust your ability to be and do something. Now, if you're doing something and you're just doing it for a hobby, okay, my podcast is not for you. If you're doing something and you want to make money and know how to make fun, then this podcast is for you. Other people who want to continue with the flash, you'll never, and I guarantee you will never, because you're so fancy, you'll never, if you do not have any underlying concrete information about your brand, you will never be successful in online marketing and business. You may get a few things, but you may not get a lot. You know what I mean? You're wasting potential. And that's the thing. You're paying all this money and you're wasting potential. It is what it is. So, again, this is Duchess Robinson from 8x10 Design and Duchess Pro and all my other things, but we're just going to stick to those two. So, thank you for listening.